If you could get a woman to one meeting or get them involved in one thing, they could see there was this other life. And then they started questioning other aspects of their life, not just relating to themselves. Or like myself, politics was just something that didn't affect me, but politics is life. And everything to do with it affects you, directly or indirectly.
A lot of women weren't as fortunate as me. They weren't taught to wire a plug, they were taught to make a sponge. They weren't taught how to change the wheel on a car. They were taught the proper way to iron a white shirt. You can't climb up the street, you're a girl. You can't come with us because you're a girl. And it made me damn determined to do it. And I suppose it sort of stuck with me. So I didn't see any reason I shouldn't be out there doing what I was doing, why I shouldn't go picketing, why I shouldn't be in a support group. I think a lot of women found their feet.
I've been in front. I have never given. I have never sat back. And I have never refused anybody. And I am very proud of it. And I'll be proud to look back on it.
Black Friday has arrived at the
Europe, you'll get down. You're never running from this town. And I think you said you'll never get anything better than this. 'Cause you're going round in circles. And everyone knows your trouble. 'Cause you're written in a big book. And now you're giving me the look. But just remember how we said we'd never make anything better than this. 'Cause we're always in a small circle, and everyone thinks we're trouble. We didn't read it in a big book, didn't read it in a big book. And now we're giving you the look, giving you the look. Just remember how we shook. And all the things we took. And this time's the oldest friend of mine.
Down in the valley, the 1st of May, gathering flowers, both fresh and gay. Gathering flowers, both red and blue. I never thought of what love could do. Don't you break my heart. Don't you break my heart. I put my hand into the book, finding the sweetest rose to grow. I prick my finger deep to the line and let the sweetest rose behind. Don't you break my heart. Don't you break my heart. Saw a ship sailing on the big blue sea. She sailed as deep as she could be, but not so deeply in love as I am. I cannot weather I sink or swim. Don't you break my heart. 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 Thousands and thousands all on this earth.
Day off in Kyoto, I boarded the temple, looked around at the 7-Eleven. Then took the speed train, went to the arcade. I wanted to go, but I didn't. He called me from a payphone, they still got payphones. It cost $1 a minute to tell me you're getting sober. And you wrote me a letter, but I don't have to read it. I wanna kill you if you don't beat me to the dreaming through Tokyo skies. I wanted to see the world, then I flew over the ocean, and I changed my mind. Sunsets for the freak show on the weekend, so I've been driving out to the suburbs to park at the Goodwill, stare at the chemtrails. house with my little brother. He said you called on his birthday. You were off by like 10 days, but you get a few points for trying. Remember getting the truck fixed when you let us drive it. 25 felt like fire. Don't forget it. Please don't hold me to it. Born under Scorpio skies. I wanted to see. I want to rise until it happened. And I changed my mind. Yes, I
When can we talk with the face? Instead of using all these strange devices. It seems like you and I need to have a crazy conversation. Wouldn't be that hard, get along so well, sentence by sentence. So trial run, let me show you how. Figure out to give you true affection.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Just Be Chat with me, Ben Corbett. I know what you're thinking. Ben, where are you? What's going on? This isn't normal. No, it's not normal. I've been in self-isolation for the last week. That's why the show's a little bit late this month, but I thought I would celebrate by just coming out, having a little walk in the Hertfordshire countryside and bringing you guys with me. So here we are. I do prefer it when we're all together, so I'm glad that I have you with me on this walk. I'm about to get a little bit of forest action. But before I do that, I just want to tell you who's on the show this month. So we have empowerment and mindset coach and model Claudia Scott for an interview. Breaking from tradition a little bit, we don't have a cook along, but rather we have a yoga session with good friend of the show, Elle Gilbertson. But before that, we have an interview with plant-based healthcare professional, Dr. Laura Freeman. Hi, Laura, and thanks for giving up your time today and coming in to chat with us.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
So I guess coming at it from a background of being slightly ignorant towards plant-based nutrition and stuff like that, and maybe not knowing much about it myself, plant-based nutrition is different to being vegan, right?
Yeah.
Like, although it fits into the same area in lots of ways, it's a different approach to your diet, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there can be some overlaps and the terms are often used interchangeably, but it is really important to make that distinction because you can follow a vegan diet and be really unhealthy. So, you know, everyone uses the example, like you could eat Oreos and fries and all day and call yourself vegan, but that wouldn't necessarily be plant-based. And so what I advocate for is a whole food plant-based diet where people are centering their diet on things like fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, nuts and seeds. And moving away from animal products, processed foods that are high in salt, fat and sugar. And so it's much more about what you're including in your diet, not just what you're excluding. So that's the distinction there.
And what sort of benefits could someone expect to experience over sort of the first 6 months of moving to plant-based nutrition?
Yeah, so they're really wide and really variable. And one of the most amazing things about it is that people tend to see benefits really, really quickly. So even you mentioned 6 months, but I see that people notice a difference within 2 or 3 weeks. Does come with challenges, it can do. But the benefits are usually that people feel clearer and that they have more energy.
I think the energy thing is really exciting for me because there's something I need to address because about a month ago I decided to cut all caffeine out of my diet, and I was drinking quite a lot of coffee during the day. I've cut out sort of caffeine, tea, coffee, everything, and I spent about a week just having blinding headaches, but knowing that I needed to get through it. And I'm through that now. I haven't got the headaches, but still it gets to sort of 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm in the office and I can just feel that time when usually I would have a coffee to get me through to boost my energy levels up. And really I need something to replace that with.
Yeah, and it's a really common complaint, and especially just now when stress levels are running high and maybe our sleep quality is not as good, and you know our work circumstances have every part of our life has been changed, and I think it's really normal for energy levels to start to deplete. But it's really amazing to think that you can make changes in what you're eating, what you're drinking, for example, and it can have really profound differences for sure.
So what would you snack on, or what would you grab for an energy boost in the mid-afternoon, or is it something more like you need to have been doing it constantly for a certain amount and then you'll see those energy? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, not necessarily. Like I think that you can get that energy boost really quickly. I think the longer that you are following whole food plant-based nutrition, the better your energy levels seem to kind of even out. But at the same time, you know, if you choose what you're eating really well during the day, like high energy, high foods that are nutrient dense, then you'll find that your energy levels are improved. So I'm a big fan of matcha tea. So it's a kind of a concentrated form of green tea, and it does have some caffeine in it, but much less than coffee, and it's released in your body in a different way than coffee is. So I can't drink coffee either. It makes me really jittery and anxious and affects my sleep like it does with a lot of people. But the caffeine in green tea is quite different. It just has so many nice properties too, like it's really high in antioxidants. So I often have that about 2 o'clock when you mentioned you get your slump. But I'll also snack on things like fresh fruit, nuts, seeds. I make energy balls just really quickly chuck a bunch of stuff in the food processor, and that's something really nice and easy to reach for in the afternoon.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, I was going to say, like, obviously people can check out on your website and stuff. I've seen, like, you've got the 6-pillar strategy, and that was really, really interesting. But for someone right at the start of their journey, what would you say is the first step you'd advise them to take?
Yeah, I mean, my focus is always on nutrition because it's where people get the most benefit, probably notice those benefits really quickly. But I've learned that it's not always about my agenda, right? Like, it's about my patients, and the truth is that every individual has their own personal needs, and some people might already be eating really well, but they'll be super stressed and not sleeping well, and so that's really important to focus on. Or maybe they realize that their diet could be improved, but they can't do that until they manage to sort out their sleep or think about improving their relationships and social connections. So it really does come down to the individual. But whatever out of all those 6 pillars, which is the lifestyle medicine approach, they really need to choose something that matters to them the most, right? Like, there's just no point in me boring someone to tears about nutrition when they really, really care about their sleep and they're just not going to be open to it. So it really is about finding out what's important to them at the time, and then choosing to work on things that are easy and they're confident in making changes, because that way you're kind of setting yourself up for success, right? Otherwise, these changes can feel really overwhelming. It can feel like you've got to do everything at once. And the truth is that even small changes make quite a big difference. So it's about finding out what they care about the most. And then within that, just thinking about small changes that they're able to do and make it realistic and make it timely.
So have you got any new projects coming up, and where can people find you online?
Yeah, I do. I have some really exciting projects coming up. So about earlier this year, I joined Plant-Based Health Professionals UK. So I would encourage everybody to check out plantbasedhealthprofessionals.com, because they're doing some amazing work, they are succeeding at educating members of the public and healthcare professionals on the benefits of whole food plant-based nutrition. And so I joined them as their advisory board member, and I'm working with them just now to try and make access to plant-based healthcare much more available. So we've not announced anything yet. It's definitely still a work in progress. But keeping an eye on their website, can sign up for newsletters just to find out more about what we're doing. And then I'm quite active on Instagram, so I tend to post some tips on plant-based nutrition and some recipes and lifestyle medicine tips too. So you can find me there.
Cool. And it's Dr. Laura Freeman on Instagram, right?
Yeah, that's it. Nothing fancy, just my name.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for giving up your time to come and chat
You're
to us today
welcome.
about plant-based stuff. And I hope that we see you at our shows in the summer and the autumn.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thanks, Ben.
No worries. Okay, thanks. See you later.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you so much to Laura for giving up your time to come and chat to us today. Some really good practical tips. Next up on Just Feed Chat, we have mindset and empowerment coach and model, Claudia Scott. Okay, hey Claudia, thanks so much for giving us some time today and coming on to chat to us.
Thank you.
No worries. So for anyone that doesn't know you, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay, so my name is Claudia Scott, and I am a mindset personal development coach. And basically over the past 8 years, I've actually ran my own business. And because of the pandemic, my business stagnated, and I transferred those skills into becoming a coach and helping women become more financially independent, but as well as that, have some mental clarity. So really finding their purpose around what they actually want to do. Last year, 2019, I actually went through my own personal experiences of having really bad anxiety, and I had a really large dose of anxiety, which seemed to just impact me in the space of about 8 months. And I was having panic attacks. I was fearful of everything. I was the opposite of what I normally am like. And because of that, I started this, I started on this journey of trying to figure out why I was like that, and because it was something I hadn't experienced before in my life. And I wanted to discover why this all of a sudden came on, and if I was able to get out of it. And I've got a really determined mindset. So if I know how I felt before, and that was more of a calm mindset, and I had this anxiety, I thought, well, there must be light at the end of the tunnel. So for me, I tried everything. I tried my own personal development coaches. I tried my own therapy. I tried crystal therapy. I tried sensory deprivation tanks. I tried meditation, journaling, everything. And through doing all of that work, I did come out the other end, and I now haven't had any anxiety attack for over a year. And so it became really my mission to turn that pain into power and really help other people experiencing that. And I was seeing it, especially in my generation, a lot of people are experiencing anxiety.
There's a lot of really healthy conversations going on about mental health at the moment. And I think that there's a particular sort of often a disconnect between what people see online and what people might see of someone on Instagram or something like that, that they look amazingly confident and they look like they're getting everything right. And I guess like you're a great advocate, with your background, Miss Universe and finalists and modeling and all that sort of stuff, that maybe people might look at your Instagram and think, well, she's not struggling, she doesn't have anxiety, clearly. So I think that you're a great sort of a role model for people to show that everyone has vulnerability.
Absolutely. And something actually that I experienced during my time of having anxiety is, I think people forget that actually social media is a job for some people, and that's how they make their income. And so for me, it really wasn't an option, especially someone who has worked for themselves for so long, to not keep doing what I was doing. And so I had people that were close to me who didn't believe that I was going through anxiety. I actually remember doing a show for the BBC, and just before we started filming, I almost had a panic attack, and I was like, I can't do this. And I just managed to switch it last minute. But the whole time I was complete, and you would not be able to tell. I even look back at that now, and you would not be able to tell that I was anxious. And so I think something I actually feel really strongly about is do not judge someone by what you see. And that's what a lot of us do, especially when we're on social media. We judge people of what we see. We think, oh, they're fine, or we make that really quick judgment. And it's natural now because we scroll through our Instagram and we see people and we judge them within the few seconds that we see that picture. So we've actually rewired our brain to think like that. And so for me, when I was actually going through the experience, I didn't feel comfortable to actually talk about it. But when I came out of the experience of having anxiety and I felt in a more balanced mindset, I thought, I need to do this. This is so much bigger than me, and I need to help other people who are experiencing this. And so I then eventually felt comfortable enough to open up and actually talk about what I went through. And through that, I've had an unbelievable amount of feedback, and I can't believe how many people have reached out to me. And obviously they have the same experience, but of course, when you're on social media and that is your job, people really don't consider that these people can actually be going through something as well. And a lot of the times they are. So it's just trying to be a bit kinder with our judgment there.
And it's interesting sort of hearing you talk about you're about to do some work for the BBC, and you managed to almost push that anxiety to the back of your mind for a while, and whether sort of reflecting on that now and in a way sort of learning mechanisms of almost hiding it in situations with your workplace. Do you look back at that now and almost wish you hadn't been able to hide it, or do you think that's sort of a healthy coping mechanism if it's getting in the way of work? How do you reflect on that sort of time now?
I mean, something that I would tell myself now is be kinder to yourself and be more patient. And, just my mindset is I'm very determined to continue, as this is because that's something I had never experienced before. I thought, if I continue as I normally do, then it will be okay. I'll get back to feeling myself. And that was the biggest mistake ever. And I tell anyone who's going through anxiety now, you need to take time to reset. And I think that's what has happened in this pandemic for a lot of people, is that it's been this really beautiful reset. And people have been able to sit back and be the observer of their life and really see what's serving them and what's not. And yeah, if I was to speak to myself back then, I'd say be a bit kinder to yourself. Stop trying to go 100 miles per hour. And, for me, it's mindfulness meditation. It's something I've actually always done prior to my anxiety. So it was something that I was doing, but I was just still going 100 miles per hour. So I was incorporating the meditation, doing that 3 times a day, but I was still going 100 miles per hour. So my body wasn't getting that rest. And I believe when you get anxiety, it's really telling you need to step back. You need to be the observer of your life and really understand why your body's acting out like this. And for me, it was a lot of healing and actually seeing a lot of self-sabotaging patterns and breaking down those and really understanding why I was doing those. And that can just be narratives that you've just carried throughout your whole life. And that's what I teach my clients now, is trying to break down those narratives, break down those self-sabotaging patterns and really understand themselves and connect to their most authentic self. And I think I just strayed a little during that time. And yeah, I think doing a lot of the mindfulness, doing the meditation and becoming more at peace with my thoughts really, really helped me.
It's always important to find what's unique to a person that comes on the show. And I think that you've got a really positive and really interesting and relevant message in these terms. So thank you so much for opening up about that and being really honest about your experience. So obviously, with it being Just Be show, I have to ask a little bit about sort of, plant-based and all that sort of stuff. So you talked a little bit about coaching and all that sort of stuff, and also like nutrition as well. And how does that fit into your life now in terms of plant-based nutrition or experience that you've had in the past?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, I had Momer. To be clear, that's Norwegian for gran. So I had a Norwegian gran, and she was really big on it's something called a macrobiotic, and it originates actually in a Japanese diet. And she was quite ill at the time, and it was something that she discovered, and it helped her throughout her illness. And so when we were growing up, we were heavily into probiotics. I was drinking miso soup all the time, and we had lots of different other probiotics like kefir, for instance. You have your probiotic yogurts. We were even Yakult. We would be having Yakult all the time, and that, by the way, was way before people were even into Yakult. Might seem a basic thing now, but back then people kind of were scratching their head and didn't really know what Yakult was. And even probiotic supplements. And my mother was very into organic vegetables, and we'd have plates full of all these organic vegetables lying out, and she really put that onto us. So something from a young age was, I knew that whatever I had to eat, however I was fueling my body, it would also help my mind. And that's actually part of the macrobiotic diet. It focuses on the yin and the yang and balancing out our yin yang, eating seasonal as well. So yeah, when we grow up, that's something I actually thought that was quite a normal thing until I got a wee bit older and people were like, well, it's miso soup and whatnot. So but now everyone drinks miso soup. So yeah.
Have you found it is something that you've sort of gone back to at this point now when you're a bit older? And did you have a period where you were sort of moving away from feeding your body these sorts of things? And what's the difference that you noticed sort of moving in and out of this sort of diet?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think when I got to about 18, I just went a bit wild and had anything I wanted. honestly, because I wasn't necessarily allowed. When I was younger, it wasn't, you know, McDonald's was like a no. We weren't allowed, or anything like that. We weren't really allowed. We really had really fresh food and cooked meals. We never had microwavable food or oven food when we were growing up. And so when I was 18, I think it just was like, you know, you're getting your own money. I was like, I'm just going to try everything. And yeah, I know it doesn't serve me. I know it doesn't serve me because I don't function properly when I'm eating bad food. And so something for me is, I really like your gut is your second brain. And so you need to fuel that right if you want this to be fueled right. And so, yeah, I definitely noticed whenever it was something when I actually got my anxiety that I really, really changed my diet back, because I was going through a phase where I actually wasn't eating that well. And I changed it back to a lot of my probiotics, which are obviously very good for your gut. And I was having a lot of green juices, dark greens, kale, spinach, and whatnot. And it definitely benefited me, as well as adding my supplements. I think supplements help me. I'm hugely knowledgeable about them, but I know about the ones that work for me. Something like magnesium, for instance, is very good for anxiety. So I try to add that in now and really look after my gut. But I know when my gut's not healthy. And I've gone through experiences where I've discussed with you that I had a really severe stomach infection about 5-6 years ago now. And again, prior to that, I wasn't eating well. And so it's always a sign that something, that when I'm not eating well, something usually comes up, the anxiety or the stomach infection. And when I got that stomach infection, I knew immediately to go back to the diet that I'd had when I was younger. And I went on a really strict probiotic diet. And yeah, I think that benefited me hugely. And I think I've got more energy, and I'm not so tired when I'm eating good food.
That's one of the big things that I've heard. Like, we were talking, the previous interview to yours, where I spoke to Dr. Laura Freeman. She talked about energy is the immediate thing that sort of comes up once you're eating the right things. That's the really big thing that you immediately notice. And also, I think what's really important is just to always remember that a vegan diet doesn't mean a healthy diet, and there are vegan things that you can eat that aren't healthy. And talking about feeding yourself with the right nutrients is probably even more important for someone on a vegan or vegetarian diet to someone who maybe has a wider range of things that they can eat, I think.
Yeah, completely. And I think as well, it just being, for me, when I'm saying this kind of mind-body connection, is I actually think the more self-aware you are in yourself, you actually become more aware of how foods affect you when you eat them. And so something, even just on a side note here, what I noticed, especially when I was going through my anxiety, things like refined sugars were an absolute no-no. And when they hit my body, I could feel that straight away. So for me, it's really, I like to stay as natural as possible, and I don't like having anything that isn't natural. So something I really look at when I buy foods or when I'm making foods, if it has to be something that has a label, I will check and see that it's got the most minimum ingredients as possible, and it's as close to the source as it can be.
That's cool. Okay, well, I'm aware that I've kept you for quite a long time, and
okay.
Obviously we have so much to talk about that I'd love for you to come back sometime. I'm sure we can talk some more, and come on our allergy show as well, because I know that you've got a story to tell and on that side of things as well. But it sounds like you're in a really good place now, and you're doing something really important that's helping a lot of people. So, you know, that's all really good, and I'm really pleased for you.
Thank you.
Where can people find you online if they want to find out more stuff about what you're doing, maybe get involved a little bit with your coaching and all that sort of stuff?
So if you go on, I use primarily my Instagram. So my Instagram is Claudia T. Scott. Everyone else can see out the T. And in that I have my link tree, which is in my bio, which has where you can book. I'm actually doing a couple of free consultations during this time, just to help people who are really struggling. And also my other platform is at the She Collective. And you can find that through my Instagram, or you can go straight to it at the She Collective, and that is a platform for women who are struggling during this time or just want to find a community of women that support them. And you can take your yoga classes, your mindset classes within that. So you can head over to that. That's also on Instagram. And they both have websites as well, which is www.claudiatscott.com and www.the-shecollective.com.
Perfect. Okay, well, thanks for that, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Cheers, Claudia. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks to Claudia for coming in and chatting to us. For more information, go to her Instagram channel, which is Claudia T. Scott. Okay, so I'm really excited about our last guest today. Breaking from tradition, we actually have a yoga session today. I know a lot of people have been really stressed out during the second lockdown, uncertainty about Christmas. I know we have a little bit of certainty now, but there's still lots to iron out. So if you're feeling stressed, I recommend get out your yoga mat, get out your rug, and follow along for Elle Gilbertson's yoga session coming up now.
Hello everybody, and I welcome you to my class today. My name is Elle Gilbertson, and I'm an art psychotherapist and a yoga instructor. I want to say thank you so much to the Just Be Show for inviting me on today to share a 15-minute practice with you. We're going to be focusing on the shoulders and the neck, a little bit into the hips as well. So all the areas that get a bit tight if you're driving a lot, if you're sitting at a computer. It's a wonderful practice that you can do just before you go to bed at night or just when you wake up. So hope that you enjoy it, and namaste. Hello everybody. So let's begin. You want to make sure you have your mat rolled out. You've got a bit of space around you so you're not going to bump into anything. We're going to be doing a gentle beginner's class today. But as always, if you feel uncomfortable or anything's a bit sore, just come down onto your mat and relax. So don't feel like you need to push through. It should all feel just yummy, lovely stretches today. There should be nothing that is painful. Okay? So to begin, we're going to come into easy posture, Sukhasana on your mat. One foot in front of the other. If you're really super comfortable in something like a half lotus, that's fine too. But the important thing is that you are fine. If you have a block, you may wish to pop it underneath your bottom. You can also use a big book, like The Complete Works of Shakespeare or a Harry Potter, if you don't have a yoga block. If you don't have a block, it's not going to affect your practice today. So I'll practice out one so that you can all see what it looks like just itself. Now, to start, we're going to enter the room, bring our focus to the breath. So breathing deeply, feeling the oxygen comes through your nose, down into the lungs, expanding in the abdomen area. And as you exhale, your tummy button is going to sink towards your spine. Your shoulders are going to sink down and the air is going to come up slightly warmer than it went in, out through the nose. Breathing in deeply on 1, on 2, on 3. And exhaling completely on 1, on 2, on 3. Breathing in on 1, on 2, on 3. Exhaling on 1, on 2, on 3. You want to continue that beautiful balancing breath through your practice. If your mind begins to wander, just bring it gently back to the breath. Now we're going to bring some gentle movement into that. So, get yourself nice and comfortable. We're going to breathe in and exhale the arms out and up. Exhaling them out and down. Inhaling, stretching the arms up to the side and up to the sky. Exhaling the arms down, taking a beautiful stretch. Inhaling, reaching the arms to the side and up to the sky, palms meet. Exhaling all the way down. Now we're going to take a gentle twist. So bringing your right hand to your left knee, finding the length in your spine. The base of the spine, the hand goes to the back, growing taller and then turning to face the back of the room. Breathing while you're here. Feeling the gentle stretch. Remembering to twist from the abdomen, and the head is the thing that comes around last. 3 deep breaths here. And coming back round to center. Placing your left hand on your right knee and placing your right hand at the base of your back, growing taller, lengthening, and turning to face the back of the room. Each side might feel a little bit different. That's absolutely fine. Just work with where you're at today and be kind to yourself always. 3 deep breaths here. And coming back round to center. And from here, we're going to stretch into the shoulders. So these areas are areas that get really, really tight. We're sitting at computers, sitting at cars. So we're going to breathe in, bring our shoulders up towards our ears, and then squeeze our shoulder blades together, exhaling. Breathing in, shoulders up, round to ears, exhaling, shoulder blades together. Inhaling up, shoulders to ears, circling them round, shoulder blades together, back round to the front. Inhaling up, shoulder blades squeeze, exhale down and round. Well done, everyone. Now we're going to reverse it. So inhaling, squeezing the shoulder blades together, shoulders come up and forward, exhaling them down. Inhaling, shoulder blades together, up, exhaling, shoulders round and down. Inhaling, shoulder blades together and up, exhaling them round and down. Give them a little shake to loosen them off. Now we're going to work into the hips. So bringing your feet in front of you with the soles of the feet together, holding the front of the feet, shining that chest forward, shoulders away from the ears. We're going to bring our knees up and lower them. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Well done, everyone. And now you're going to position your feet as close to the body or as far away from the body as you wish, whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to take a gentle forward fold. So again, shining that chest through the arms, shoulders down. We're going to hinge forward to wherever you feel comfortable. So the point at which you would naturally stop, just stopping there. Lovely relaxed shoulders, head relaxed, so not craning down or craning up with the neck, just lovely and loose. Taking a little breath here. Then exhaling, just sinking those shoulders and head and letting the whole body soften over your feet. And scanning the body for tension, softening the mouth and forehead if a little tightness has crept into the face. Tongue resting behind the 2 front teeth, just gently. Taking 3 deep breaths here. With every inhalation, feeling the abdomen expand into that area that you've created between the legs. And then as you exhale, a little bit more release is created as you sink down towards the earth. And to release, just gently walking yourself up. Remembering it's when you release some of these postures that you can feel it. Just be kind to yourself. Then bringing the soles of your feet to the mat, windscreen wipering the legs from side to side. Feeling the release. Then bringing yourself onto all fours on your mat. So for this, you want your hands planted underneath your shoulders, your fingers spread wide. Your knees are going to be underneath your knees, underneath your hips, sorry. So knees underneath your hips. Nice, stable, solid position. And from here, I want you to bring your focus to the back. So from here, we don't want to be pushing our bottom up or tucking our tailbone under. We want to start in a neutral position. So that means flat back and that your hips are level and even. So it's really good to train the body to recognize when we're in that neutral position so that we can be aware of how we're holding our posture through our waking life. So from here, we're now going to inhale, dip the belly towards the mat and look forward. Exhale, arch the spine, eye gaze goes between the legs. Inhale, dip the belly towards the mat, look forward. Exhale, arch the spine, eye gaze between the knees. Now, if your knees are feeling a little bit uncomfortable, you can fold up your mat and make a little extra cushion for it, or if you've got like a little blanket or a cushion, you can pop it underneath your knees too. So one more breath in your own time, inhaling, dipping the belly towards the mat. Exhaling, arching the spine, eye gaze between the legs. Then coming back to that neutral position. So beautiful cat-cow exercise, bringing some mobility to the spine, helping loosen and ease any discomfort. From here, I'm going to ask you to widen your knees and bring your big toes to touch. Now we're going to sit back, seat to heels. Bringing the forehead down to the mat and your hands beside your feet. If you're struggling to get your forehead down to the mat, you can do one potato, two potato with the hands and bring your forehead down. Or if you have a block or a book or a cushion that you're using, you can bring the forehead down onto that as well. Hands behind you. Anything that's going to allow you to sink those heels, sink this seat closer to those heels and relax even further. Just taking a moment to breathe here. That's a child's posture. Wonderful posture for letting the blood flow towards the head, increasing feelings of relaxation. And also that space that you've created between the legs, your abdomen can be expanding into that as you breathe in. Exhaling and releasing. So 3 deep breaths here. And bringing the hands forward again, but keeping your head down. Stretching them towards the end of the mat, lifting those elbows up off the mat. And we're going to just take a lovely stretch into the shoulders. Then we're going to walk our hands towards the right hand side, bringing the palm of the left hand onto the back of the right hand. Stretch into the left side. And then we're going to walk them towards the left, bringing the palm of the right hand onto the back of the left hand. Right side. And come back to center, walking your way up and coming onto all fours once more. So again, we're going to go into an inverted V, or some people know it as downward facing dog. So you want your hands spread wide with most of the weight in the forefinger and thumb. And you want your wrists stacked underneath your shoulders and your knees stacked underneath your hips. Then we're going to come up onto our toes, lift the knees up off the mat a little bit, and then push our bottom up towards the sky. Now, if this is your first downward facing dog of the day, you might want to pedal into the feet a little bit. Just take a bit of a relaxed pose. Now, in order to focus our attention from having that straight line from the crown of our head to our tailbone, we're going to bend our knees and push our torso towards our thighs. Really feeling that stretch. Now, once you've got that beautiful straight line, you can then ease your heels down towards the mat. Doesn't matter if your heels touch the mat, but you're easing them in that direction. Then you want to have your feet parallel to each other. You'll be feeling that in the back of the legs, feeling the strengthening in your shoulders, stretch in the hamstrings, maybe coming up into the glutes. If you then tuck your bottom upwards in this posture with your heels facing down, you'll get a little extra stretch in the back of the legs. But again, always work with where you're comfortable. Holding this for 3 breaths. And when you're ready to, hinging forward, bring those knees down and coming back up. So from here, we're going to do another little bit onto our neck and shoulders. One of my favorite exercises. So we're going to bring our hands into a little basket and push the palms forward, bringing them up above the head. And then making a little cradle at the back of the head, directing those elbows towards the back of the room. The chin is slightly tucked so that the neck is elongated. Now I'm kind of barely touching the back of my head here, so we're not pulling the head and neck into any particular position. Taking a few breaths here, feeling the stretch. And then we're going to gently arch the spine. So again, no pressure on the back of the head. We're just using it to guide the head down. Chin is tucked to chest. Then we're going to bring those elbows together. Scooping under with the tailbone. Breathing here. And then lifting back up. Lifting those arms towards the sky and bringing them out. And we're going to finish with a little bit of mindful breathing. So again, into your comfortable posture, whatever is good for you. You want your shoulders relaxed away from the ears. And again, that an imaginary string, pulling the crown of your head up towards the sky. Taking a little breath here, bringing the focus to the body. Maybe even closing the eyes if it's comfortable. And scanning upwards through the toes and feet and legs. Checking for any tension. Up through your torso, up through the hands, arms and shoulders, and into the neck and face, right up to the mind, scalp, brain and forehead, softening all the way up. Finishing by bringing the hands to the heart space, rubbing them together, bringing some heat into a little warm, cupping the eyes, feeling the heat absorb. And then gently separating the fingers, flickering open the eyes. And thank you so much for practicing with me today. As always, look after yourself, drink lots of water. Wishing you all namaste.
Oh, hey, it's you guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. I think it's been a good one. In that case, I better say thank you to Laura. I better say thank you to Claudia, and thank you to Elle for your contributions this month. Tune in next month for our end of series Christmas special. It's going to be lots of tips for the festive period, so do tune in. But until then, stay safe, everyone.